And let's touch on, so you kind of mentioned briefly that, you wanted to fight probably longer, but some injuries were there, and then you wanted to coach people, and it was hard to do both, right? Manage what you needed to do and also help other people. So talk a little bit about what were some of the injuries that you had to overcome throughout your career, maybe even from when you started until we, took care of your shoulder.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I first started having back spasms in my, lower back spasms and so forth. And they'll just kind of come here and there. And, back then sports medicine wasn't what it was, what I mean? So I think I definitely didn't stretch as much as I needed to, but also too, the functioning methods of stretching, aren't what they are today. You know what I mean? The general things that we did back then. Nobody talked about drinking enough water, electrolytes, those sort of things, so a lot of the time, I would get those lower back spasms because I was always doing something. I was always training or playing some sort of sport. So whatever I could, whenever I wasn't helping out the family. And I think another big thing for me was I'd be the guy that always start cramping a little bit.
Okay.
Not enough water and stuff, right? So as I move up, started training and so forth, and moved to martial arts, now I moved to this career in fighting. I think back then, the only thing that I knew to better help me was to remain more flexible.
Okay.
So I think I started to stretch more, going to longer, deeper stretches, and thinking that was going to be it. That was going to be fine. And then this back spasm started to pop up again. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is killing me and whatnot. So I would start stretching after practices, but not even all the time, I wasn't aware that might be some muscle imbalances, some deficiencies, or I'm not as strong in certain areas, and other areas are a little more dominant, and whatnot. And all I would do, if I really, really need to, is I would rest. I kind of figured out my body at the time in my early 20s, mid 20s, or I would just have to go through a deeper warm up where I got a good sweat going. Now my back is loose. Right? So I kind of went through that for, I would say almost 8 or 9 years. I want to say when I was fighting professionally. But what had happened was I hit a point where I was waiting for things that kind of happen. I was ranked in a top 10, in the world, and I was waiting for my shot. I was ranked number 7, but for some reason, after I beat someone in the top 5, they're not giving me anyone else in the top 5.
Got it.
And I'm just waiting and whatnot. And I was it's really tough, because I worked myself up to a point where I'm getting paid $2,500 to show, another $2,000 or $2,500 to win. And then back then, there weren't really any big sponsors. The best I could get at a certain point was having someone help me out with airfare to fly out, overseas. And this became hard. So I think I had my last fight around 29 or 30, before 30 or right as I turned 30. And I was like, man, I think I'm going to take a small break. At that time, nothing was bothering me. I think what I had done differently that past 2 years prior to stopping fighting was that I started to do a lot more strength training.
Got it.
And that was big. That was huge for me because nothing was bothering me anymore. No back issues whatsoever. Nothing was bothering me anymore. And it was really good. So I decided, I'm just going to take a year off. I'm going to earn as much money as I can. I'm in tremendous shape, best shape of my entire life. And I'm going to go right back to it. I just need to eat. Need to buy groceries. And 1 year turned into 2 years. And then at the end of the 2 years, my body started giving out. And in that 2 years time, I went kind of nuts. Because what I did is I started to work more. I had 3 different restaurant jobs. I worked 6 nights. Then I started to work construction.
Got it.
And as a carpenter again. And I started to work 5 days a week. Then I started to work 6 days a week. So I ended up having Sunday daytime off and Thursday night off.
Got it.
and I started to lose muscle mass.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like I knew I was losing muscle mass, but I still had abs. So I'm like, I'm still strong. My work was really physical, and I was always busy. So I'm like, man, I'm still in shape.
Yeah.
You know, but I wasn't really realizing that a lot of the things that was really strong were now becoming weak. And as a career athlete, I didn't realize the atrophy I was going through.
Yeah.
So my muscles were getting shorter.
Yeah.
I wasn't stretching because I wasn't training.
Yeah.
You know, so now I started to have some of these issues start to pop back a little bit. And then one day my back just went out. My back went out so bad that I was on the floor. I had to roll over on my back. I couldn't stand back up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't stand on my back. I was like, I never had it this bad before. So I'm laying on my back flat on the concrete, waiting for things to kind of settle. And then my vision starts to go.
Okay.
My vision starts to go. I start to lose vision on my left side. I start to get numbness in my face and the left side of my body. And then now I can't really see.
Okay.
And then I get a full-on migraine.
Oh no.
Yeah, so boom, landslide right there. I'm like, what the heck is going on and stuff? And I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I went to the doctors and whatnot, and you know, they checked me out, and you know, eventually found out that I had a lot of issues in my neck.
Yeah.
And a lot of issues in my lower back. I had degenerative discs that were just bone on bone.
Yeah.
L5, S1, and so forth. And then my neck on the C9 or C10 or whatnot. Same thing going on over there. And I had a spot of arthritis next to the nerve.
Got it.
And on top of that, my spine was just all of for some reason my spine became crooked.
Yeah.
You know, all out of whack and whatnot. My skull, that top plate, was goosed out forward like this.
Got it.
So I had so much impingement on the nerves, and then now I was just really messed up.
Yeah.
Really messed up. So they said, "Oh man, you're a really strong candidate for surgery and stuff." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
You know, and I remember being in the office and stuff. I ended up going to a chiropractor. Like, oh, you know, okay, my girlfriend, my now wife, you know, at that time we were still dating. She told me, you know, let's go see a chiropractor and whatnot. And I was like, man, people have been telling me to see a chiropractor from when I was like 21.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know, I didn't really think it was going to help and whatnot. And I did. Saw the guy. He was like, your career is done. You'll never fight again. You have to think about doing something else for work. And I just remember being in the office and started crying. Yeah. I was just devastated because I had 100% believed that I was going to get back to it. Yeah. You know, so I learned a lot right there. And the road to recovery had to slowly start happening. Yeah.
I did not. Well, actually, I probably did know, but you know, it's been a while since we worked together, so all of the details kind of slipped my mind. But I didn't realize that your neck was that bad.
Dude, my neck was so bad. Yeah. It was so bad that even my lower back took a back seat to my neck. Yeah. Because my neck became a chronic thing where as I went around, nobody knew how to fix this thing. Yeah. I'd see different doctors, so forth. One side, they're prescribing medication, candidate for surgery. On the other side, they're like, you got to do all these different exercises on the more holistic side and whatnot. And I'm doing all these things, man. I'm marching to the beat with everyone, but now I'm on medication. Yeah. Because I'm having these migraines that are completely taking me out. Yeah. And when these things hit me, I lose vision, I lose speech, I can't really think. Yeah. And sometimes I go completely black or can't see anything. Yeah. It was so bad. It would take me out from work for a few days to a week. Oh yeah. I'd be shell shocked for days after. Yeah. Like inside my head, it just feels so bruised and beat up. Yeah. Yeah. And it was like later when I finally found this other chiropractor, this guy like Dr. Michael Nogre. Okay. But he had done this adjustment on my skull. Okay. Where he was able to kind of reset that, I guess that it's called the Atlas bone or something like that. Yep. He'd reset it back on the plate, and then, long story short, you know, being with him for like a year at that point, he got me off medication. Okay. I had to take meds every day. It was really bad, and I still have breakthrough migraines. So he got me off meds and whatnot, and then we got a better understanding of the strengthening that I needed in my neck to prevent the head from going forward. Yeah. And then, you know, as you know, you learn and whatnot. Every so often you have a minor breakthrough, I'll get a little bit symptomatic and stuff, even once in a great while, to this day. But then I started to like learn like the last 2 years that my scaling muscles on my neck, they get so tight because of all the pad holding that I do and so forth. So I started to learn how to stretch these guys out. The next thing you know, even though this might be killing me, my neck, my traps and whatnot might be killing me, I stretch my scaling muscles out. All of a sudden I have this neck relief. My eyes are clear and whatnot. Loosened, So man, it's been like this long journey of like, I want to say over 10 years, almost 15 years now of learning how to kind of beat this thing.
So I think you just saw a chiropractor, you did exercise and everything, and then you slowly got things back into balance, right? And then the symptoms kind of decreased, you got off the meds. Now explain, how did that tie into your shoulder?
Oh man, so when I was competing, I didn't drink enough water. And sometimes at night, because of how much training I'll do, you know what I mean, I'd lay on my side and I would hear my shoulder creak, like a really dry door hinge creak. Creaking over and on, like, oh my gosh, man. And once in a while I have headaches and everything like that and stuff. But I knew my shoulders weren't great, but still it was like I stretch my chest, stretch my lats out, do these things, do certain warm-ups and whatnot, get the mobility going with it. I'm okay, right? But I didn't realize how weak my shoulders got. The rotator cuff. Focusing on these other areas, I neglected the shoulders. And at that time too, just being so busy in this new thing, starting the gym and coaching these athletes and so forth, really going full time in it now. Not part time anymore. Now I'm a full time coach and everything. And I think too, the stubbornness for sure. You gotta give shout out to my wife for that. I'm stubborn, thinking that I'm still the same young guy. I'll be fine, But yeah, my shoulder ended up. So long story short, I'm on a fight trip in Colorado. We're in Broomfield, Colorado for the UFC. I'm with one of our guys, Max Holloway. And he, myself, and Rylan Lazarus, the other coach, we go to a resort. It's winter time. Snowboarding. Max wants to do snowboarding.
That's right.
He wants to do snowboarding fight week. So week of his fight, this dude's cutting weight. He wants to go snowboarding. So I'm like, wow, this sounds exciting. But I'm a little nervous because I've never snowboarded before. It's my very first time. And so we go out, we go up and whatnot. And then I'm like, okay, in my head, Ivan, I don't care. No ego. I'm going to find a bunny hill. I'm going to learn how to do this. No bunny hill. Max like, bro, you're an athlete. Let's go. I said, no worry, just follow me. All you got to do this and that. And I grew up surfing and didn't realize it was the opposite of surfing. It's the exact opposite. And the instincts, it's hard when you're going downhill for it to be to change your instincts, to reverse it. And we go on this blue diamond run. It got downgraded, I don't know, a couple of years before. It was like a lower level black diamond. And the powder wasn't great. There's a lot of ice and whatnot. Dude, I spent the whole first half of the day just getting wrecked. And it wasn't the falls that did my shoulder in. What it was constantly in the snow trying to pick myself back up. So what happened was, I think the thing created an impingement in my shoulder. Right? I know that's what it did. And we ate lunch and I went back out again. I was determined. I was stubborn. I was going to conquer this thing. But I went to the bunny hill first though. I was like, okay, I want to learn how to do this thing and whatnot. But I still had falls, and by this time my shoulder's wrecked. I can feel it all the way through my arm even. So I finished a fight week having to hold pads with like one hand. I could barely get my arm up this high and stuff. And when he kicked to the body, I'll just eat it. I'll just eat my shoulder. I just went through it. We tried to see a massage place over there, get some relief. Nothing. I was like, man, this thing feels pretty sharp. And got back home, saw a friend of ours from the gym, Pat, and he was like, man, you gotta go see Andrew. You gotta see Drew, man. And go see Drew. And I'm like, what? I got all this going on?
Okay, it's coming back to me now. I do remember the snowboarding, when I first met you. But okay, so to fill in some of the gaps, this is after. So your neck was, I think it was better at this point? Because you kind of were past that working construction as much.